Hello, hello, hello. This is Tiffany with Healthy Passions. If you do not know me, I am a certified personal trainer, certified wellness coach, and a certified energy healer by birth. I am an oracle, prophetess, and a natural healer. Today, I wanted to do as promised and finish out some of the 613 commandments. Hopefully, we can get it all done today. Good news is I got my most of my work done before 8 o'clock this morning. So we had an early morning this morning, so we can try to get some of these knocked out, at least most of them. I know I said in the other videos that we are going to skip the messages to specific people, but today the Most High wants to send another message to a specific person. They're going to know who they are, hopefully, from this. And if you have any questions in reference to that, you can always email me at healthypassiontiff, Tiff, at gmail.com. That is healthy passion tip, all one word, all together, at gmail.com. All right. So this one's pretty important. I want to get the message out first. This young woman knows exactly who she is. She's known me for some years now. We've known each other very well for some years. About 2 years ago, think back what happened 2 years ago, or right around that time. About 2 years ago, the Most High asked you to work with me on some wellness coaching in reference to getting your body back in balance and um, preventative measures. Um, he's saying that he wanted you to work with me then, but the time frame is closing in to get your body back in balance in the shape that it needs to be in order to prepare for what is next. And you know what is next around January. So he said that he asked you to hire me for a wellness coaching session, just one, in reference to this specifically. And we will spend that time getting you a plan for that to work towards, to prepare yourself as well as your body for what it needs to do. So if you are ready, he's saying the time is closing in on us to work with me specifically on that. And the reason why he's asking you to hire me in particular is because of my unique set of skill sets in reference to being able to listen to people's bodies for them and see exactly what it needs. And also the oracle ability. He wants to give instructions so that you can prepare properly for what's to come. This is a big deal. This is something you always wanted. So he wants you to take it seriously. And the time is running short. It is August, and he wants at least the rest of the year to get you to that point. So it is kind of urgent. So get with me and we will get that together for you. All right. Take care on that one. All right. So, guys, if you are following along with the lesson, we are on the topic of criminal laws. Criminal laws. This section is not that long, but we're going to do two. The other one's pretty lengthy. As you know from before the prior lessons, you are to listen to write down the scripture, write down the commandment, write down the scripture, pause the video to write them down, get it all. Once that is complete, you are to go to each section and study. Read above and below to get the context, and here we are. All right. So, criminal law number 278, not to slay an innocent person. Not to slay an innocent person. That will be Exodus 20:13. Exodus 20:13. 279, not to kidnap any person of Israel. Not to kidnap any person of Israel. Exodus 20:13. Exodus 20:13. Number 280, not to defraud. Not to defraud. Leviticus 19:13. Leviticus 19:13. Number 281, not to rob by violence. Not to rob by violence. Leviticus 19:13. Leviticus 19:13. Number 282, not to covet what belongs to another. Not to covet what belongs to another. Deuteronomy 5:18. Deuteronomy 5:18. Number 283, not to crave something that belongs to another. Not to crave something that belongs to another. Deuteronomy 5:18. Deuteronomy 5:18. Number 284, the last one in this section. 284, not to indulge in evil thoughts, insights, not to indulge in evil thoughts, insights. Numbers 15:39, Numbers 15:39. The next section will go with this. The Most High wants me to, this is a little lengthy, so he wants me to actually keep these two together in one video. The next section is going to be punishment and restitution, and he wants me to keep those together and then start a completely new video for the last, because these go together. All right, so punishment and restitution, number 285. 285. That the court shall pass sentence of death by decapitation with the sword. That the court shall pass sentence of death by decapitation with the sword. Exodus 21:20, Exodus 21:20, also Leviticus 26:25. Leviticus 26:25. Number 286. Oh, before I go to the next one, I want to say we have to use common sense. So whatever the death penalty is now in the modern day is probably what we would go to. It's just that when these were made, that was the execution style. So just history, right? Number 286. That the court shall pass sentence of death by strangulation. That the court shall pass sentence of death by strangulation. Leviticus 20:10. Leviticus 20:10. 287. The court shall pass sentence of death by burning with fire. The court shall pass sentence of death by burning with fire. Leviticus 20:14. Leviticus 20:14. Number 288. That the court shall pass sentence of death by stoning. That the court shall pass sentence of death by stoning. Deuteronomy 22:24. 22:24. And you will notice that in the scriptures, that's why I say read above and below, it will kind of specify which punishment goes for which, right? So let's go to, let's go to 289. 289. To hang the dead body of one who has incurred that penalty. To hang the dead body of one who has incurred that penalty. Deuteronomy 21:22. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 22. 290. That the dead body of an executed criminal shall not remain hanging on the tree overnight. That the hanging body of an executed criminal shall not remain hanging on a tree overnight. Deuteronomy 21:23. Deuteronomy 21:23. 291. To enter the executed on the day of execution. To enter the executed on the day of execution. Deuteronomy 21:23. Deuteronomy 21:23. Number 292. Not to accept ransom from a murderer. Not to accept ransom from a murderer. Numbers 35:31. Numbers 35:31. 293. To exile one who committed accidental homicide. To exile one who committed accidental homicide. Numbers 35:25. Numbers 35:25. Number 294. To establish 6 cities of refuge. To establish 6 cities of refuge. In parentheses, put from those who committed accidental homicide. In the parentheses, it should say from those who committed accidental homicide. So let me read it all together. To establish 6 cities of refuge for those who committed accidental homicide. Deuteronomy 29:3. Deuteronomy 29:3. Number 295. To accept ransom, not to accept ransom from an accidental homicide so as to relieve him from exile. Not to accept ransom from an accidental homicide, so as to relieve him from exile. Numbers 35:32. Numbers 35:32. 296. To decapitate the heifer in the manner prescribed in. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, give me a second. Okay. 296. To decapitate the heifer in the manner prescribed, in parentheses, put an exploitation of a murderer on the road, comma, the perpetrator of which remained undiscovered. To decapitate the heifer in the murder prescribed, in parentheses, put an exploitation of a murderer on the road, comma, a murder on the road, the perpetrator of which remained undiscovered. All right. So Deuteronomy 21:4. Deuteronomy 21:4. Read that one carefully. Number 297. Not to plow nor sow the rough valley. Not to plow nor sow the rough valley. In parentheses, put in which a heifer's neck was broken. In which a heifer's neck was broken. Deuteronomy 21:4. Deuteronomy 21:4. Number 298. Number 298. To adjudged, ADJUDGE, a thief, to pay compensation or, in parentheses, in the certain case, in parentheses, suffer death. So I'm going to read it all together. To adjudge a thief, to pay compensation or, in parentheses, in certain cases, suffer death. All right. And notice it says in certain cases. So they're going to be specified which cases those are going to be. So that's going to be Exodus 21:16, Exodus 21:16, also Exodus 21:37, Exodus 21:37, also Exodus 22:1, Exodus 22:1. I'm sure in those it's going to specify which ones to that applies to. So be careful reading it. Number 299. That he who inflicts a bodily injury shall pay monetary compensation. That he who inflicts a bodily injury shall pay monetary compensation. Exodus 21:18 through 19. Exodus 21:18 through 19. Number 300. To impose a penalty of 50 shekels upon the seducer, in parentheses, of an unbetrothed virgin, after the parentheses, and enforce the other rules in connection with the case. I'm going to read it all together. Number 300. To impose a penalty of 50 shekels upon the seducer, in parentheses, of an unbetrothed virgin, in the parentheses there, and then after that put and, and, enforce other the other rules in connection with the case. Exodus 22:15 through 16. Exodus 22:15 through 16. Number 301. That the violator, in parentheses, of an unbetrothed virgin, parentheses ends, shall marry her. That the violator of an unbetrothed virgin shall marry her. Deuteronomy 22:15 through 16. Let me slow down. Deuteronomy 22:15 through 16. I'm selfishly trying to get this over with because I have other stuff that I want to do, but I think these are so important that I need to slow down and make sure that the listener gets it, okay? I do apologize. Number 302. That one who has raped a damsel and has then, in accordance with the law, married her, comma, may not divorce her. That one who has raped a damsel and has then, in accordance with the law, married her, comma, may not divorce her. Deuteronomy 22:29. Deuteronomy 22:29. So men, rape is not okay, but here he holds the rapist accountable. We don't do that in this society. That's probably not the best situation to be in, so it's a deterrent to not rape a woman. All right. So number 303. Not to inflict punishment on the Sabbath. Not to inflict punishment on the Sabbath. That's going to be Exodus 35:3, Exodus 35:3, and then after that, in parentheses, put because some punishments were inflicted by fire. Because some punishments were inflicted by fire. We aren't to do any work on that day. It takes work to build a fire, so we do not do it on the Sabbath day. We rest. And violation of the Sabbath is a big no-no. All right, number 304. Number 304, to punish the wicked by the infliction of stripes. To punish the wicked by the infliction of stripes. Deuteronomy 25:2. Deuteronomy 25:2. So we know that the stripes are from that leather whip that they used like on Christ and in his way to the crucifixion. So that is a whip. So the stripes on the back, right? Number 305, not to exceed the statutory number of stripes laid on one who has incurred that punishment. Deuteronomy 25:3. Deuteronomy 25:3. After that, put in parentheses and by implication, not to strike anyone. All right. So, not to exceed that statutory number of stripes laid on one who has incurred that punishment. Deuteronomy 25:3. Deuteronomy 25:3. In parentheses, and by implication, comma, not to strike anyone. So we are not to exceed that number that has been stated in the course of the punishment. That's above and beyond, and the Most High will not allow it. Number 306, not to share, not to spare, SPARE, not to spare the offender, comma, in imposing the prescribed I can't talk today. In imposing the prescribed penalties on one who has caused damage. Let me read that again. 306, not to spare the offender, comma, in imposing the prescribed penalties on one who has caused damage. Deuteronomy 19:13. Deuteronomy 19:13. Number 307, to do unto false witness as they have proposed to do to the accused. To do unto false witnesses as they have proposed to do, in parentheses, put to the accused. Deuteronomy 19:19. Deuteronomy 19:19. Now we know that it is part of the commandments for us not to bear false witness, but in this case, the person who bared the false witness is held accountable, and they will incur the punishment of which they try to give to someone else undeservingly. Number 308. This is the last one in this section. Number 308, not to punish anyone who has committed an offense under duress. Not to punish anyone who has committed an offense under duress. Deuteronomy 22:26. Deuteronomy 22:26. A lot of people say that the Most High is not compassionate. He has put that in there as a form of compassion, because sometimes we are put in situations that may cause us to do something that we wouldn't normally do. So that's why that compassion is there. So the next section is going to be prophecy. I'm going to end this one here because the Most High just wanted to keep those together. And we will start at 309 on prophecy. So that's next.